We got cooking a restaurant named 121, that's correct? And
yep, Local 121.
Local 121, and we got Dave Johnson, who's the head chef here. And what we're talking about is a little different today. We're talking green. Now, I came in here earlier, and I saw on the rundown that we had beef, and I'm saying to myself, green beef? What's going on here? How do you equate green with beef? And I said to Dave, what's up with the green? And he said, well, the cows eat the green grass, hence the green, correct?
Correct, but also it's local beef.
Right.
So shopping locally is very sustainable, very green attribute to the cooking industry.
So what makes this better in your mind than something that is mass-produced, that isn't fed, that isn't treated the way in which you treat your beef?
Well, the animals are treated humanely.
Meaning what?
They're bred like in small, like the families don't have a lot of cattle, and there's only about 75 cattle on the farm.
Right.
And they are fed grass, which is the natural diet of cattle. And they don't get as many sicknesses and illnesses and
so they're not pumped full of steroids and some of the other things that the other cattle are?
They're not fed corn, which is extremely horrible for cattle and digestive and for people, for you or I,
right? Because
the kind of cholesterol that it creates it's not a healthy cholesterol.
Now, how does your beef taste better than somebody else's beef that doesn't adhere to these types of things?
To simply put it, it has more beef flavor. There's a lot more beef going on. And it's grown for 3 years,
right,
the cattle. So it's not always, a lot of grass-fed beef is only done for like 2 years. But this particular cattle, Treaty Rock Farm, is the farm. They're down in Little Compton.
Okay.
They just take a lot of care in their animals and a lot of pride in what they do.
Well, that's fantastic. We're going to start cooking it when we come back. Local 121, and we're talking beef, and it's going to be good because he says so. We're back in a minute.
Courtney, I tell you, I have to just say we spare no expense to advertise and highlight Ben Haig during the Super Bowl. That was really funny. In any case, I am here with Local 121, and we're making a New York strip steak, right?
Yep.
Tell me, go over the ingredients with me real quickly. We have grass-fed beef.
Grass-fed beef, parsley, crimini mushrooms. This is just going to be a little garnish at the end.
Okay.
And shallots, rosemary.
Salt and pepper?
Yep, salt, pepper, a little garlic, and our little friend, black truffle oil.
And this is broccolini?
Yep.
Broccolini, teeny broccolini. I wanted to also talk a little bit more about the grass-fed steak, because the thing that I find really interesting, in particular about buying local and having good quality ingredients, is you really do get a better quality meat, better quality produce, because it doesn't lose all the nutrients as it's being transported, right?
Right.
Is that the theme for the restaurant then?
Yeah, well, I mean, hence the name, Local 121. You know, during the winter months, it's kind of a difficult feat to source these local ingredients. But throughout the late spring, the summer, the fall, late fall, you know, we source as much local ingredients as we can throughout the surrounding farms.
And it really is a richer experience. I know that you were talking a little bit about corn-fed beef. What I think is interesting, too, is that when you're not feeding corn-fed beef, we've seen in the news media a lot of stories about contamination and different problems, and a lot of that comes from this industrial way of raising livestock. So when you go to this way of raising livestock, not only do you have something more nutritious, but I see as a chef that you prefer it.
Yeah, it's a lot healthier, and you know, the animals are eating true to what they're supposed to eat.
Yeah, and not all beef is created equal. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But for now, we'll throw it back over to you guys.
We are with Restaurant Local 121 with Executive Chef Dave Johnson here, and he is cooking green for us. Not just green, but like meat green, like cows that eat green. Capiche? Dave, explain to us.
Well, we get this grass-fed beef from Treaty Rock Farm, down in Little Compton. So it being somewhere that's less than 20 miles away,
Right.
Makes it green and sustainable.
The other thing about grass-fed beef is the fact that when it's not, because you were talking a little bit to Vince earlier about how it's not good for a cow to be fed corn. A lot of times that increases the resistance to antibiotics, and when they're overfed, because they gain a lot of weight with corn, and they fall on the ground and they get sores and that sort of thing, have to be treated with antibiotics, and then that all goes into your system. But with grass-fed, you don't really get any of that.
No, because they have more or less the natural resistance from eating the natural grass that helps them to kind of keep away from
Right. You know, a lot of doctors will tell you stay away from beef because of cholesterol.
Not this
Does it
beef.
have less cholesterol?
It does. It has a lot of omega-3 fatty acids.
Right.
So it's a lot healthier. It doesn't have as much cholesterol. It has healthier cholesterol.
Right. Now, is this cooked faster than I won't say normal beef, but what we would normally get it in a supermarket?
Generally does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is this something that's a big seller in your menu?
This is not always on the menu. One of the things with local beef, it's not always available. So this is something that we special on the weekends, Thursday through Saturday.
Okay.
We'll have some sort of special beef that's on.
Well, I'm open Thursday, so
Come on down.
you can go.
Now, how long have you been cooking it here?
Probably about 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And total it's going to take, if I like it, I like mine where it's still twitching a little bit.
You say rare, med rare?
That's what I like.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to point out, you made some carrots and parsnips, which are root vegetables that you can get in the winter locally. What did you do with these?
Dice them up very simply, and then just roast them with a little oil, a little rosemary, and parsley. Very simple.
And this is going to be a side dish to the steak here, right?
Right.
Now, I know this can't possibly be the only thing on the menu. Give us an idea. If I come into 121, what's going to be on the menu?
What you're going to see on the menu is as many local ingredients as possible. We have lobster scallops from Stonington, Connecticut. We also have quail from Vermont. We also have other cuts of meat, pork belly. We have quail. Quail's going to be going on the mail.
Yeah, I like quail.
Yeah, quail's good.
Hey.
Tough to catch, though.
You got to be quick with the quail. Hey, what are you going to be doing with this broccolini over here? Because we only have about a couple minutes left.
Okay, we're just going to quickly blanch it.
Okay.
And just going to throw this in the oven.
Okay. And what temperature are you going to throw this in at?
400?
400 for about how long?
Probably like another 4 minutes.
And a
Little bit of
nice
butter?
chunk of butter on that.
Butter.
Unsalted, correct?
Right? And then we're just going to do a really simple saute of mushrooms. 'Cause
Okay.
Mushrooms are always a good thing with beef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of matches that meaty flavor.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with it.
So you're throwing in a couple of shallots.
Yep.
In some extra virgin olive oil?
Right.
Or, okay, just to bring out the flavor a little bit, right? What are you going to do next?
Just going to throw in some mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have a wine list?
We do.
You do.
And it changes on a regular basis along with our menu.
What would you recommend? Not necessarily a brand, but, a type of wine with this.
A nice,
Cab?
yeah, a nice cab. Nice
Yeah.
big cab. You want something that's going to... I can turn this off.
A little heavy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what else are we going to put in here?
Just a little stock, and we're going to just cook it down. Very, very, very simple.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
We only have a couple seconds left, so I just want to go over. Do you do anything after you blanch the broccolini, or do you simply kind of let it speak for itself?
Saute it in a little bit of garlic.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And so when we finish, we're going to have a dish that has the parsnips and the carrots on the base.
Yep.
A little bit of this. Is this going to be a sauce for over top of it?
More or less. You finish it with a little truffle oil on top of the mushrooms.
Very nice.
You know,
What's inside the cup there? Cup? Yeah, the
little chicken stock.
little chicken stock.
And that'll
What
go
are we going to use that for?
We're just gonna add it with the mushrooms.
Okay.
Very cool. Well, I tell you what, we're going to keep cooking in the kitchen as Michelle starts with her weather. And is there something else in here? No, that's
Yeah.
it, right?
Yep.
So what we'll do is we'll let you keep cooking this up, and we'll
Right.
get a taste of it in just
Cool.
a little bit.